this class, we shall be discussing 4 important figures in the annals of New Indian cinema. They worked in Hindi, these 4 directors, in the western part of the country. The 4 directors are Shyam Benegal, M.S. Satyu, Syed Mirza, and Govind Nihalani. Benegal started his career in a remarkable fashion. In 1973, he made Ankur and followed it up 2 years later with Nishant. Both the films provide chilling insights into feudalism at work in what used to be Nizam country, now in Andhra Pradesh. The dark deeds of the landed gentry are juxtaposed with the newfound revengeful mood of the peasantry, which had been at the receiving end for generations. From his very first film, Benegal came to be noted for at least 3 things. First, his choice of subject and the easy flow of his narrative, with which he could easily communicate with an all-India audience. The second was his humanism, which was expressed in his concern and sympathy for the dispossessed and the discriminated. And the third, he discovered a range of actors and actresses who later on became indispensable for Hindi cinema. Benegal, however, was destined to give an even better account of himself as a storyteller and technical craftsman in films to come. Manthan 1976 and Bhumika 1977, taken together, represent perhaps the most creative period in Benegal's career. The first is a contemporary tale about the successful running of a rural cooperative venture, complete with credible and moving insights into individual lives. And the second is a period piece which takes the viewer into the troubled and treacherous times of a Marathi actress at the peak of her career. The second in particular revealed Benegal's fine eye for detail and his incessant ability to create pulsating drama.
सुनिए, आपने हमारे उषा जी का डांस देखा? हरिलाल जी खुशखबरी सुनानी है.
And wherever you looked, you were struck by Govind Nihalani's excellent photography, which contributed in no small measure to making Benegal's early films in particular the disturbing delight they were. Bhumika was followed by another period piece, Junoon, which came to grips with the turbulent days of the 1857 insurrection, based on a story by Ruskin Bond called Flight of Pigeons. Junoon narrates a Pathan nobleman's ill-fated obsessive love for an Anglo-Indian girl. The film is mounted at a pace which reminds you at times of the closing frames of Nishant. From Junoon to Kali Yuga, the machine age, Benegal took a leap of more than 100 years, the period. From an India trampled underfoot by foreign occupiers to an independent nation where urban industrial elites were vying with each other to prove who was the more calculating and manipulative of them all. Benegal has had a long and eventful career in New Indian cinema. The last time we saw him, giving an account of himself which reminded the audience of earlier times, was when he made सूरज का सातवां घोड़ा.
मानिक, गैया को रात की रोटी दी?
भाभी सवेरे देकर जो आया मैं. कल परीक्षा है. पढ़ूंगा कब?
तू अच्छी तरह जानता है उसे सुबह शाम 2 जून की रोटी देनी है, वरना ब्रेड टूट जाएगा. जा रसोई से रोटी ले और अभी दे आ. जा.
परीक्षा में फेल हो गया तो मुझे दोष मत देना.
The film reminded the intelligent viewer of ancient Indian modes of storytelling in a striking modern idiom. M.S. Satyu has been described by more than one commentator as a one-film wonder. They are referring to the masterpiece called Garam Hawa, arguably the most important film made by an Indian director on the subject of partition. Garam Hawa was based on a story by Isma Chugtai. It's about a Muslim family settled for generations in Agra. It is primarily about Salim Mirza, played to near perfection by the great Balraj Sahni. What happens to him, his family, in the wake of this trauma? He sees before his eyes his shoe making business being reduced to nothing, the violent death of his young daughter. She commits suicide. A procession of relatives going away to a new nation called Pakistan, but Salim Mirza and his son stay back, refusing to leave the land of their forebears.
कुछ तो कराची चली गई और कुछ
जा रहे हैं.
जी
तुम इन्हें समझाओ, गांधी जी की शहादत के बाद यहाँ कोई खून खराबा नहीं होगा.
जी मैं यही तो समझा रहा हूँ. क्यों भाई, सच सच बोल रही हो?
हम यहाँ मिस्त्री साहब यही समझा रहे थे.
मगर मेरी सुने कौन है?
It is a very sad story, and it is replete with insights into the games politicians play with ordinary lives. It is nothing less than a masterpiece. Among its admirers may be counted Satyajit Ray, but the great film critic Iqbal Masood was not entirely happy with it. He thought that there was an excess of sentimentality in the telling of the tale. Be that as it may, the film was highly appreciated wherever it was shown, at home and abroad. Satyu made several films in his native Kannada and Hindi in times to come. But he was not able to recapture that old magic of Garam Hawa. It is for this reason that he is sometimes described as a one-film wonder. Syed Akhtar Mirza, a very important personality in New Indian cinema. He is perhaps the most argumentative spokesman of the parallel cinema movement. Mirza had Ritik Ghatak as his teacher at the Pune Film Institute. You must remember that both Benegal and Satyu are self-taught. Now we come to a person who is a fruit of the institute. From the redoubtable Ghatak, the young Bombay filmmaker picked up not just the art of repartee, but also a social philosophy where there was space enough for the dregs of society. From the emotional loner, looking desperately for a supportive shoulder to lean on, to young, deceived members of the underworld. The deep impression that Ghatak left on Mirza can be measured from the latter's frequent retelling of an anecdote relating to the great man. It seems that Ghatak was in the habit of telling his adoring students at the Pune Film Institute that to be a filmmaker, one must carry his childhood in one pocket and a bottle of alcohol in the other. Where John Abraham from Kerala took that prescription literally with explosive repercussions for himself and for contemporary Malayalam cinema, others like Mirza or Nirod Mohapatro preferred to take the master's word more as a deep and useful metaphor. If one takes the trouble of reading Syed Mirza's autobiography, Ammi, Letter to a Democratic Mother, one comes to know how well he remembers his childhood. His father was a renowned poet and he was in the Bombay film industry. But since he was a dreamer, he was not able to earn enough for the family. The family income used to be supplemented by the exertions of Said's mother. The parents were ultimately able to give a decent upbringing to the children. They went to good schools, ate well. But they had never enough, more than enough, at home. The struggle for dignity and the necessities of life left a deep imprint on Mirza's cultured and sensitive mind. His best characters in the films he made, like Albert Pinto or Salim Langre or Naseem, these people, they have inherited many of the sensitive qualities from Mirza's life. Albert Pinto Ko Gussa Kyun Aata Hai, his second film. It is with that film that he became an internationally renowned filmmaker. Who is Albert Pinto? He's a flashy garage mechanic in Bombay who thinks because of his different sounding surname, name, the flashy clothes he wears, and the little broken English he speaks, he's a cut above the rest of his fellows at the garage. The film is about how our Albert is brought down from the air to the ground. How life educates him in the actual facts.
मजा आया? हाँ? मजा आया?
मजा कैसा? हर पार्टी एक जैसी होती है। देखो एल्बर्ट, मैं पार्टी में जाने को मना नहीं कर सकती। तुम मेरी जगह होते तो क्या करते?
तुमको रोका क्या?
बेकार में गुस्सा क्यों करते हो? अच्छा बताओ, शाम को कब मिले?
काम बहुत है।
अच्छा कल?
कल भी काम तो है।
तुम खुद बताओगे?
रटना उस्ताद, अपने को टाइम मिला तो फोन कर दूंगा। ओके।
One thing about Mirza is that he's very insightful when he goes into the lives of different communities, minority communities especially, himself belonging to one. Here it is about the Roman Catholic Goans, in Albert Pinto's case. In the case of Salim Langnepe Matro or Nasim, he goes into Muslim lives, educated Muslim lives. But at some point, one or two of the family may have opted out of the mainstream in search of easy success. Nasim especially shows how many a cultured Muslim man or woman suffered emotionally in the aftermath of the demolition of Babri Masjid. Govind Nihalani had his training in cinematography in Bangalore, did an apprenticeship with V.K. Murthy, the famous cinematographer, without whom perhaps the Guru Dutt masterpieces would not have been made. And then after that, he formed a long association with Shyam Benegal. He first came to the fore as a filmmaker with Akrosh. Actually, it was his first film. He made a name with his debut film. Akrosh is based on a real-life incident. The script was written by Vijay Tendulkar, the famous Marathi playwright. It's about Adivasi woman, young woman, being raped by some very important persons, influential persons in society, and it is given out that she has committed suicide when actually she has been murdered, and how the husband takes revenge on society. That is what Akrosh is about. But the film that followed, Ardha Satya, is technically more polished. And from the village, that is Akrosh, he comes to the city, the metropolis of Bombay. The film showed a conscientious policeman at odds with the disease system in which he is expected to carry out his duties.
साहब देखता कोई वहाँ ताश खेल रहे साहब।
पवार जाओ, वो लोग ताश खेल रहे हैं, पकड़ के लाओ उनको। हाँ साहब, भागने मत देना किसी साले को।
But Nihalani is perhaps best known for the long TV film he made called Tamas, which was about the partition. Nihalani has something to say about what unites these films, Akrosh, Ardha Satya, Tamas. Akrosh, Ardha Satya, Tamas, in all these films, a recurrent theme is of an individual making a choice to redeem or restore a sense of dignity to his existence in the face of oppression, exploitation, or manipulation by forces or systems much bigger and more powerful than he could comprehend. Tamas raised a storm of protest when it was first shown. Fundamentalist outfits belonging to the majority community, they said that it had shown the Hindus and Sikhs in a poor light, but then it went up to the courts, and the Supreme Court gave the judgment that the film should be shown because it was talking honestly, sensitively about many important things that should not be kept away from the people of India. This was a major victory for the artist's freedom of expression. Nihalani went on to make other films in course of time. These included Drohkal, 1995, 1084 की माँ.
देखिए मिसेस चैटर्जी, आपको शायद अंदाजा नहीं है कि वो कितने बड़े मुजरिम हैं. They are a gang, जिसे वो पार्टी कहते हैं. But they are criminals, and we must nab them. It's your duty to help us. मैं आपके घर की तलाशी लेना चाहता हूं. बताइए कहां उसका कमरा?
So we will end this class saying that some Indian young filmmakers, through their work, are showing that they are appreciative of the work that their pioneers had done.